Played him. We've got some cars coming up along the main straight. Oh! Punched in the face by Evan Rice. No burnouts. Alright guys, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews. Make sure you stay tuned. This is me signing off now, and we'll see you guys next time. Little bit of a surprise, but he gained 12 positions. Started down in some bumhole position right towards the back and ended up finishing... Oh geez, I can't even find you. As Jonathan Hernandez comes out and takes the lead. Oh, we got lots of stuff going on here. Oh my god, there is death everywhere. Everyone got tight and have just gone up and slammed the wall. Boomerang shoes in that one, Jordan Lee. A lot of people just getting very tight there on the corner exit. It'd be almost easier to tell you who was not involved. I can see John. Hello everyone and welcome to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Outboard Racing 150, the penultimate race of Season 1 2021. And this will be the second last time that we'll see the ARCA cars on track this year. We are moving to a different car next season. Still not quite sure which car it's going to be yet. But the drivers are just now ready for a pit party. They're starting to roll out. So let's have a look at what we're going to have going on here. At the moment, Chris Champeau, the top of the timetables here in practice, with a 30.801. Jaron Sanchez, just 4 thousandths of a second behind him in P2. Christian Budd all the way down in 4th at the moment. But again, he is only 24 hundredths of a second behind the top time set by Chris Champeau. You see the front row there, we've got the 88, Jonathan Hernandez, who will be starting on the inside. The poor Jaron Sanchez on the outside. Got Chambliss and Christian Budd up there as well. Ken Campbell on track. Got 17 drivers. Or 17 people in the service, 16 drivers. It looks like we're about ready to get going here for the pit party. Now off and racing. Jonathan Hernandez already out to a big lead. Oh, the 12 of Matt Burgess getting loose in turns 1 and 2. And it looks like he's turned Frank. And there's shenanigans at the back of the pack. Big crashing going on. And the 33 of Matt Horton somehow survived through that crash. That was a big one to start things off. Get back in with the pack here. Jonathan Hernandez still leading away from Sanchez. Got Chambliss there sitting in 3rd. And Budd in 4th. But Sanchez using the momentum of that high lane, trying to get around Hernandez. Hernandez getting a little bit tight, slipping up the track. Sanchez getting into the wall again. Could have had him cleared, but hitting that wall definitely slows you down. Christian Budd making it 3 wide and going around. Also spinning out before Sanchez. Ryan Pizzakemi involved. And that's why you don't stick your nose in between the two cheeks. Oh, Frank getting a last minute cheap shot there on Jaron. Oh, that was rough. Frank, who remained sitting on track, just getting center punched by the 2 of Chris Champeau. And, yep, Chris is not going anywhere with that front end. There's Jonas Marquez on screen, Mark Pentecoff just behind him. There's Ken Campbell, currently 14th in the standings in the 15 car. In fact, you can actually say he's 13th. My time does not count. Thomas Harmon trying to run the extreme outside lane and getting it wrong there in 1 and 2. Someone else got it wrong there in 3 and 4. Not sure who that was though. They left a lot of smoke behind. You see the 12 of Matt Burgess, currently P7 in the standings with 30.925. He gets it wrong coming out of turn 2. Ooh. It's like a bouncing ball against that inside wall. See Christian Budd currently fourth in the standings, experimenting with that high lane a little bit. And that lap did not improve him. It was 31.077 that time. This time he did a 31.155, so he's not improving right now. Maybe he extracted the most that he could out of the car at the moment, maybe not. It looks like he is going to go for an overtake here on Jonas. Makes that move really easy. Out of the 16 drivers plus myself, making 17 people in this server, strength of field is 27.48. It looks like Jonas experimenting with some alternate dimensions there, trying to get an advantage. Jonas down in 11th with his 31.757. Mark Pentecoff with the two of Chris Champeau behind him. Chris has been showing a lot of pace here late in the season. Didn't have the best of starts to the season, but has definitely been improving a little bit as the season's worn on. Oh! Esteban Sanchez smashes Jonathan Hernandez there on the front stretch. And then gets slammed by the 13 of Travis Massier. Two of Chris Champeau still on top of the tables. 50 of Christian Budd just having a little bit of a spin here coming off of turn 2. In a burnout competition, you deduct points for a wall tap. 12 of Matt Burgess. Behind him is Jonathan Hernandez. There's the 23 of John Lazelle. And yeah, I really should make sure all the paints are current and proper. As John Lazelle now gets loose coming off turn 2. Saved it nicely though. Jonathan Hernandez and Matt Burgess get into it. And Hernandez puts himself into the wall. Frank Isaacson having some trouble off turn 2. .38 Thomas Harmon coming onto track. 64 of Marquez and the 2 of Champo was just behind him. Pizzacchemi and Isaacson entering the track as well. And Frank's gone around. Marquez and Champo. We're actually focused on the 2 of Champo at the moment. There's the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, owner-operator, currently P3 in the standings. Still just 0-2-1 off the leading time, now set by Christian Budd. But Matt Burgess having some more troubles. Some of the drivers coming out, there's a little pack there. Cool to see. Matt Burgess trying to draft hard on the 15 of Ken Campbell. And around they both go. There's Mark Pensicoff on screen. Currently P15. James Watson has signed up to the server, but he's not currently in the server. I wouldn't be surprised if we see these guys organise another pit party here. Just because of the nature of the track at the moment, things are a little bit slick. Everyone's slipping, sliding around a little bit. It seems especially true on fresh tyres when they're a bit cold. But we'll have to wait and see because there's only 11.5 minutes left in this session. If they're going to want to do it, they're going to want to do it pretty soon. Look like Jonas Marquez practicing a pit entry. Nice, cool, calm and collected there. That's Frank Isaacson in the wall in the front stretch that Chris Champeau went past. Like a few people spinning out a little bit here. Again, the 12 of Matt Burgess still struggling there on the backstretch. We're looking at Thomas Harmon now, the 38 car. And in front of him, Jonathan Hernandez is going around. I think he just caught those barrels at the pit entry. Chris Champeau coming out of the pits. Looks like he's got Ken Campbell for company with him. There's the Piper Mark Pentecuff. Got Brian Chambliss just a little bit behind him. You can see these cars struggling with grip in turns 3 and 4. They get very tight as Chambliss getting very loose on the exit of 4 there. Going for a half loose. Sanchez doing his best. Oh, wow. What? Let's say he's doing his best wall surfing impression, but that was weird. And it looks like everyone's spinning out here, so we might possibly be seeing another pit party coming up shortly. Yep. Rick Isaacson goes rolling down the hill in turns 1 and 2. There's James Watson on screen. He's finally in the server. It looks like we're starting to roll now. Most people ducking down onto the apron because they don't want to start at the front. And it's going to be Burgess and Sanchez on the front row. So expect some drama in this one. We know they've got history. I know the crash they had the other week is an accident, but you know, we like to poke fun at the bear. We're off and racing now in this one. Very late start for these guys. Very wide in the back of the pack. 2 drivers going around. That's Watson and Isaacson who's gone around. And Frank's car's looking a lot more worse for wear. Just sitting there smoking away on the backstretch. Car actually looks like it's on fire. I mean, it's not, but it looks like it. As we are within the last 5 laps of practice now. Hear a lot of phantom contacts into the wall there coming into one. Oh, Sanchez got loose coming out of 2. And I think so did Harmon. But that kicked off big time. What a wreck. That was the majority of the field in that one. There's Hernandez who's just at the wall coming out of turn 2. Probably more phantom than it was anything, but still. 13 Travis Massier behind him. Matt Burgess still leading the pit party. That time it wasn't Phantom. That was a big touch on the wall. As these guys are starting to catch up to some of the cars that have come out of the pits. We've only got a couple minutes left here in practice. Remember, we will go to commercial breaks with about 30 seconds to go. But the penultimate round of the Output Racing League Season 1 2021 sure looks like it's going to be an interesting race. Oh, as Jonathan Hernandez gets loose coming out too. He collected Travis Massia, and Massia collected the 50 of Christian Budd. You see Thomas Harmon getting very defensive, practicing his race lines. But with a minute left in the session, we are going to go to a commercial break here. And when we come back, we're going to see exactly how the field will stack up after qualifying. Right here for the Output Racing 150, live and exclusive on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. From the home of NASCAR, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We are back, live and exclusive on the Aussism Commentator channel for the Output Racing 150, right here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Qualifying has been completed, so it's time for us to see who is going to be starting from where. And on the pole, if it was any surprise, with a 30.694, Christian Budd. Starting on his outside will be the 21 of Brian Chambliss. P3 will be the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. P5, the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. P6, the 2 of Chris Champeau. P7, 39 of James Watson. P5 is Chris. P6 is James. P7 is Thomas Harmon in the 38. P8 is going to be the 13 of Travis Massio. P9, the 24 of Frank Isaacson. And P10, the 23 of Jonathan Lazelle. Then it's going to be Ken Campbell, Mark Pentecoff, Matt Burgess, Kyle Kraus, who it says connected earlier, but he is not on the grid. P15 is Horton, then Pizzakemi and Jonas Marquez. So Pizzakemi will move up a row and start out of 14th. Horton and Marquez will start in 2 rows at the back, all by themselves. Got 100 laps, 150 miles to tackle here tonight. And this is the second last round of this season. Let's get ready to get it on here. As we come through turn 3 and 4, the pace car will pull in. The first start is on the leader. All subsequent restarts will... Oh, sorry. First start is on green. All subsequent restarts will be on the leader. Words are hard as the pace car is in. And we're off and racing here for the Output Racing 150. Live and exclusive on the Aussism Commentator channel from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And already Christian Budd looking like he's got his nose just that little bit ahead of Brian Chambliss. Chambliss going to slot down into second. Jonathan Hernandez stuck on the outside here, a little bit out to dry. But he's going to continue the advantage over Sanchez, who qualified third. The back of the pack, it looks like we had a little bit of trouble for Mark Pentecoff in the 5. Possibly got loose coming out of turn 2. And that is why he is now quite a bit behind the pack. All in a little bit of space by himself. Just in front of him, Pizzakemi and Marquez. As we start looking for some battles here, most people are a little bit strung out. But it looks like the 13 of Travis Massio here and the 12 of Matt Burgess starting to get a little bit aggressive with some of the guys in front of them. Matt Burgess trying to battle for 9th with John Lazelle. Travis Massio trying to battle on the outside of James Watson for 7th. And he's going to get there for now. He's going to maintain that high lane. Lazelle trying to use that high lane to advantage as well. I have been hearing that the high lane can get really tight really quick, as Lazelle and Burgess did get their way around Watson. Oh! And we have our first caution of the day as John Lazelle has gone around, and I think he has been collected by Jonas Marquez. No, that's no good at all. Go and see what happened here to Lazelle going into the corner. The 12 of Matt Burgess on his tail. And is it just a case of a little bit too close? Is it a case of that dreaded netcode? You know what? I think that might be netcode. Oh, no, that was a hit. That was definitely a hit on the hitbox. Oh! Marquez. Nowhere to go there. You see him dragging that sorcery car off onto the apron. So that was our first caution of this race. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will see if anyone chooses to pit. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back here for the Output Racing 150 live and exclusive from the Charlotte Motor Speedway here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And Kyle Kraus is in his car. We heard that he stopped for a chicken sandwich on the infield when they were calling the drivers to their cars. So he is now 5 laps down due to the fact of eating his chicken sandwich. Alright, we've got Jonas Marquez who is in the pits. He's getting repairs done to that 64 car, and it's looking like the 23 of John Lazelle is OUT out of this race. And it looks like Marquez has now just exited stage left as well. Car is too damaged and he's not going to be able to get that fixed. The lights are out on the pace car, so we're going to start forming up 2 by 2 again. And I think we're going to take this restart from the bumper cam of Christian Budd's car. As I said, on the restarts, the leader will have the advantage of going whenever they want to go. Jonathan Hernandez getting right up as close as he can to Christian Budd's bumper. A little bit of intimidation, a little bit of strategy. As we get ready to go, pace car's going to start making his way in, which he does now. And a very early jump there for Christian Budd.
Go, go, go. Green flag.
And side by side behind him go Hernandez and Chambliss. Hernandez on the preferred line, being on the inside, but the outside lane still holding on to a little bit of momentum. Hernandez does hold on to second, no, and Chambliss slips back to third. You see Thomas Harmon trying to make moves as well on the inside of both Sanchez and Chris Champeau. Chris running up near the wall, which is a viable line now. You see he's got that little bit of momentum, just holding him stationed with Thomas Harmon. These guys battling over the fourth position. And it looks like on the outside lane, Chris Champeau holding on to the advantage, holding on to that fourth spot. And by all appearances, everyone has now single filed out a little bit. Of course, you got Thomas Harmon running that higher line through 1 and 2. Trying to get the momentum advantage on Chris Champeau. And he is right to the bumper of Chris Champeau there. Let's look off the nose cam here of Thomas's car. And this is a fixed camera position, it won't rotate. To the inside we go. You can't see Chris Champeau on his bumper cam, because they're still side by side. Chris Champeau using that momentum on the outside to his advantage in 3 and 4 to just pull that little bit ahead of Thomas Harmon again. See if he can maintain it here in 1 and 2. And he can. You see Thomas Harmon there got a little bit loose coming out of turn 2. The battle is definitely on in earnest here for the fourth position, which could almost become a battle for third. Because even though these two have been battling, they've been catching up ever so slightly. In the back of the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Go out of the back of his car and have a look at these guys behind him. Looks like Thomas trying to get that outside line to roll on Chris Champeau this time. Ducks back down to the inside for turn 3. As I said, it's not like this battle between Harmon and Champeau is really slowing them up at all. And it is a little bit right now as Chambliss pulls away from them ever so slightly, but you know, they do close back up on him. This is definitely one of the louder camera angles that we got. I can't even hear myself think because this camera angle is so loud. See both Chris and Thomas running that high line now. Chris diamonding down on exit a little bit. Oh, Thomas Harmon loose. As we go back to our quieter camera angles. Thomas Harmon definitely got loose there, coming out of turn 2. And we got a battle on for second between Chambliss and Hernandez. Chambliss trying to make the inside work on Hernandez. Hernandez holding on to that slightly higher line. Just slightly higher than middle of the track there. There can be a little bit of grip found in the seam in 3 and 4. It looks like Chambliss will have this move made and stuck. But here comes Hernandez with the fight back. And we're going to watch this one from the gyro cam of the 2. See how Hernandez will battle back on the Chambliss here. If he can battle back on Chambliss. It looks like Chris Champeau might actually have something for Hernandez here as well. Chambliss starting to pull away from Hernandez here ever so slightly. I think we might have a little bit of a battle brewing back in the pack as well. 24 of Frank Isaacson, the 78 of Brian Pizzicami, and the 39 of James Watson. These guys battling it out for the top 10. It's a 3-way battle for the top 10. Just behind them, the lap down car of Kyle Kraus. I hope the chicken sandwich was worth it. I'm sure it was, honestly. I've never heard of a bad chicken sandwich from a racetrack. Maybe overly greasy, but not bad. It looks like Pizzicami getting very aggressive here with Isaacson. Looking at his inside now. That move is almost made. Kyle Kraus jumping down to the lower lane. Need to give Pizzicami a little bit of a push down the back straight there. Give him a little extra air. And Frank using that high line well. He got a little bit of momentum back after Pizzicami just would have had him cleared. But it looks like this time coming out too, that's going to be all she wrote. But Frank Isaacson maybe looking to battle back. He's thinking about it. And he does. Down to the inside he goes on Pizzicami. But it looks like that's going to be all she wrote. Pizzicami now up into 11th. Isaacson down to 12th. Let's go back in and check on this other battle in the top 3. And Chris Champeau starting to fall off from the back of Hernandez here ever so slightly. As we heard a phantom contact for Christian Budd and the turn 3 wall. That high line for Hernandez just not quite working out the way that he wanted it to. But we all know the most superior line going on right now is the line that's been held by the 50 of Christian Budd. back checking on the back of the pack here. And it looks like Pizzakemi's gotten around Watson. Here comes Kyle Kraus. He's making moves as well. 78 of Brian Pizzakemi also trying to get Travis Masia here in the 13. He's made that move stick. Kraus is going to follow suit. Watson just sneaking down in front of Frank Isaacson. And Masia could be in a little bit of trouble here. He slips up the track. He got a little bit spooked there. And Watson gets that move clean and clear. Demacia just went from, what was that, 9th all the way back down to 11th, possibly 12th here because Frank's coming up on his inside as well. And indeed, he is now down into 12th. Frank does have his nose just ahead. In fact, he's got his whole car ahead this time. Travis trying to do a switchback though. And he's not going to quite get that one to work. Frank blocking the opportunity in the tri-oval. We're going to go have a look at the 38 of Thomas Harmon, who's up into 5th. Just in front of him, Chris Champeau has gotten around Jonathan Hernandez for 3rd. But we're looking at the back of the top 5 here with with Thomas Harmon. These guys have ever so slightly been catching up to Hernandez in the 88, who's still continuing to battle with the 2 of Chris Champeau. Looks like Hernandez just holding onto his line slightly better. Maybe just a little bit better on the tyres as Jonathan over Chris. Chris definitely trying to utilise that high line to his advantage. Trying to gain the momentum. Seems a little bit for naught right now. These guys kind of stalemating out a little bit. But this is inviting Thomas Harmon to get that ever so closer to him. We know Jaron Sanchez will be looking for a top 5 as well. But Hernandez just not quite having the luck here at trying to get around Chris Champeau after Chris got around him. Travis Masia has now fallen all the way back to 13th. Ken Campbell up into 12th. A 14th place car, Mark Pentecoff, sitting in a space all on his own here. He's just gone past the front stretch. Got all the room in front of him, all the room behind him. I think he's just struggling with this package a little bit. It's very possible. As we're going to go check out the 12 and the 33 now. Matt Burgess and Matt Horton. It's the battle of the mats. As Horton goes to the inside in the Avril Lavigne car. And he makes that move very quickly and easily on the 12 of Matt Burgess in the Halverlane car. And now Matt Horton in 7th, going to make his charge towards Jaron Sanchez. This guy's not that far behind Jaron. Jaron has dropped back to about 6/10 behind Harmon. As Harmon is actually in this battle now for the 3rd position. Hernandez still trying to use that low lane. Harmon just sticking to that low lane a little bit better than Hernandez. And here he comes now to the inside, trying to make that move stick. Couldn't get it that time in turns 1 and 2. Just to regroup, get his momentum back and try again. Now Harmon trying to go to the outside of Hernandez as Hernandez pulled to the inside to try and make a move on Champo. Champ slips up the track there a little bit in 3 and 4. They're almost 3 wide. Harmon's trying to force it. He did. 3 wide on the front stretch. Harmon trying to get a 2 for 1 as they come into turns 1 and 2, and he gets it. Now it's a question of whether he can hold on to it, as Chris is pretty damn quick on that high line with the momentum. Chris just gets his nose back in front. Going to turn 3, comes down low for the block as well. Jaron Sanchez in this battle similarly, looking for a move on Hernandez. Sanchez wants to be in the top 5. See if we can see what these drivers are talking about in the server, if they are talking in the server. As the 2 of Chris Champo and the 38 Thomas Harmon now swapping lanes. Chris on the inside, Thomas on the outside. Thomas using that momentum to his biggest advantage. And he is now going to take over that 3rd position. Got another 1.1 seconds before he catches up to the back of Chambliss. But Hernandez now trying to battle back on Chris Champo again. We've also had Matt Horton and Matt Burgess joining in on this battle now. It's all going to be about drawing the battle lines and picking your line early. Sanchez pinching down on Hernandez as they come through turns 3 and 4. Trying to take a little bit of that arrow away from Hernandez for his advantage. Chris Champo masterfully using both lanes to defend. Oh, Sanchez got loose. I think there was just a little bit of contact there with Hernandez. That has made Sanchez drop a little bit back there. Hernandez still battling on the inside of Champo. Not going to make that move stick this time. And now Matt Horton in front of Sanchez. Sanchez still going to try and follow Jonathan Hernandez on the high side. Actually, no, not Jonathan Hernandez. Chris Champo, my apologies. Oh, it's Horton. Got a little bit wild there on the entry to 3. Got very tight, almost plowed into the side of Sanchez. But the battle is still on for Champo and Hernandez. And it looks like Sanchez for a second was almost going to think about the 3 wide. Thought better of it as he got back around the 33. Mark Pentecoff just in front of these guys now. He is a lap down. Mark running the high line. As here is the battle we're looking at on screen. Sanchez, oh, very tight in turn 4. Trying to make the move on Champeau. He's not going to make it this time, obviously, not with that tightness. And Matt Burgess almost forced to take it 3 wide there, as Sanchez made his mistake. They're going to go 3 wide this time with the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. That actually is going to unsettle the 2 of Chris Champeau a little bit there, because he had to take the middle. The middle's not generally a line that's been run too much. As Sanchez still trying to battle along the inside. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, hopefully this battle will still be going, because it's an absolute cracker. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We are back live and exclusive on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Output Racing 150 here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And the battle has still been continuing. Sanchez falling back behind Champeau. And now Matt Horton trying to prove his worth on the inside, trying to take away the 6th position from Sanchez. Got Matt Horton Matt Burgess, who's also trying to join this battle. Going to with the lap down car of Kyle Kraus. I say lap down car with all due respect. Kyle is a phenomenal driver, and I'm sure he'd be loving this battle if it was for position. As we've just reached the halfway point, we should be expecting to see some green flag stops happening soon. As Sanchez now drops in behind Matt Burgess, but in front of Kyle Kraus. The battle is still continuing ahead of him though, with the 33 of Matt Horton, who is still inside Matt Burgess and looking to get to the inside of Chris Champeau as well. It looks like Matt Burgess holding on to the advantage with that high lane, using the momentum, and he does so very nicely to get in front of Matt Horton. Now he's looking to the inside of Chris Champeau. These guys have been battling over the 5th position for a long time. And here comes the move from Burgess. Oh, he slides up, just managing to miss contact. Horton gotten onto the apron, which slowed him up a little bit. Sanchez checked up and Kraus checked up. Frank Isaacson is in the pits. He's the first of our pitters here. We'll have to see if Sanchez can catch up to this battle again. But we're keeping an eye on it, as now Matt Burgess looking to the outside of Chris Champeau. Haven't seen too many people make it up to his outside. Tempo almost looked like he was going to attempt a slide job. Thought better of it now.
Pitting in.
Burgess in position. Chris Tempo just came over the radio. He's coming in this time. And there he goes. Sanchez coming in as well. Let's go back to focusing on our leader, as I think the 39's coming in as well. But there is Christian Budd. He's got 3.5 seconds over Thomas Harmon, who has taken over the second spot from Chambliss. And it's only been a recent overtake. It hasn't been there for a while, I think. As now Harmon pits. He's looking for those slightly fresher tyres earlier in the run. Try and get a little bit of an undercut here on Christian Budd. Not a bad strategy. We'll all be pinning on Christian staying out here for a little bit longer. And he's continuing on for another lap at least. But tyre wear does not really seem like it's a big issue here tonight. And the tyre wear is seemingly almost non-existent, as that looked like a big hit for Christian Budd into the wall. Could have been net code, but damn. And it looks like all is quiet on the pitting front for now. No one else has come into the pits just yet. The advantage of sticking out with your pit run like this is that you're going to be on lower fuel for a little bit longer. It means that you're not actually wearing your tyres out anyway. As that was the 12 of Matt Burgess who came over the radio, so he's coming in. The leader is now coming as well, Christian Budd. Did a 21 of Chambliss does. He stays out, so he's going to lead a lap here. Lane 2 for the 88 of Hernandez. And the 15 of Ken Campbell has come into the pits. We've just got 4 cars left who have not pitted. Chambliss, Hernandez, Horton and Pizzakemi. I mean, technically Kyle Kraus hasn't pitted yet either, but he still does have 5 lap fresher tyres than everyone who hasn't pitted. The last thing he'll want to see right now is a caution, as Christian Budd is a lap down now coming out of the pits. 78 of Pizzakemi is coming to the pits, so we've only got 3 left. That's Chambliss, Hernandez and Horton. And Thomas Harmon, with the undercut, has gotten in front of Christian Budd. And our leader Chambliss now heads into the pits. So Jonathan Hernandez is going to lead the lap and get the bonus points for it. But Thomas Harmon, through pit strategy, is effectively in the lead of this race right now. We just have to wait for Hernandez to pit, and then we can watch this battle between Budd and Harmon. Although we will probably stick with it for now. And it looks like Hernandez coming in this time by. So now the battle is indeed on between Harmon and Budd. When they come around to the start-finish line this time, they'll be back on the lead lap. And battling for the lead. The inside goes Christian Budd, the outside goes Thomas Harmon. One thing Thomas would love to see while he's still got his nose ahead is a caution. because then they could possibly pit again and be on even tyres. Christian Budd with a lot of speed in the center of the corner. So very much more speed than Thomas Harmon, as he's now up on the door of Harmon. They're wheel to wheels. They come into turn one. Now, Harmon does have the advantage of the momentum on that outside lane, but he's not going to be able to use it this time. I don't know what is under that hood of Christian Budd, but it just seems every week he turns it up just a little bit more, especially when he's under threat of losing the lead. But we're going to keep an eye on this battle because it could end up staying very close. Although in saying that, the gap is already out to 0.4 of a second, nearly 5 as they come into turn 3. Let's go back and check out the battle for third and fourth here. It's Chris Champeau and Jaron Sanchez. Sanchez with his earlier pit stop managing to get his way into the top 5 in front of Matt Burgess and Chambliss. Chambliss, it seems, left his pit stop just a little bit too late. Got all the way back to P6. But he's going to get around Matt Burgess here. And quite easily, I might add. Now he's going to start his charge towards Champeau and Sanchez. Go back and have a little eye spy here on Ken Campbell. He's got Travis Massia behind him. Campbell on 4-lap pressure tyres than Massia. And it looks like he is extending that gap to Campbell in P10. Pulling away ever so slightly from Travis Massia. Frank Isaacson is the next car up ahead. Frank's tyres are 7 laps older than Ken Campbell. But Ken has a long way to go before he catches up to the back of Isaacson. Tyres would definitely have evened out before that happens. '78 Brian Pizzicami in 13th. And he is actually under threat for going a lap down here. Christian Budd just 1.7 seconds behind him. Pizzicami with one of the fresher sets of tyres in the field. Pitted on lap 60. As we're looking now at the battle for 5th and 6th. Also looking at the battle for 3rd and 4th, Champeau and Chambliss. Chambliss has just been on an absolute charge ever since pitting. As they're catching up to the lap down car of Mark Pentecoff once more. Chambliss makes the move on Champeau's stick. It's going to put Chambliss now up into third. Chambliss has 5 seconds before he catches up to Christian Budd. Sanchez has fallen off the back of Matt Burgess. And Matt Burgess is trying to go for an overtake here on Chris Champeau. Burgess with 4 lap pressure tyres and Champeau. And looks like he's going to make that move stick. But now that we've gotten through the pit stop cycle, we're going to go to another commercial break here. When we come back, we'll be going all the way to the end unless we get a caution. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back live and exclusive on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Output Racing 150 here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And Jonathan Hernandez has just moved himself up into the 4th position, getting around Chris Champeau and Matt Burgess. And now he's going to start his charge towards Brian Chambliss. He has the freshest tyres of the entire field, pitting on lap 62, just 1 lap fresher than Chambliss, but 6 laps fresher than Thomas Harmon in second, and 3 laps fresher than Christian Budd in the lead. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to unfold for him. As I think we've also got another battle on track back here. Travis Massier, James Watson and Frank Isaacson. Massier and Watson had the same tyres on 55 laps. Oh, they pitted on lap 55. Frank, slightly older tyres, pitting on lap 52. As we are getting close to the final 20 laps of this race. But this is definitely the closest battle we have on track right now. And it looks like Watson's going to go for a move this time into turn 1. Oh, he slips up the track a little bit. Gets it back down. Diamond's down from the mid lane where he got up. Massier just goes to clipping the wall there coming out of 2. So he maintains position. So it's still going to be Travis in P10, Watson in P11. So these guys battling for the top 10 position after getting around Frank Isaacson earlier. But everyone is very strung out on track. These two are literally the closest people on track for position. Let's see if Watson can reset a little bit here. Have another crack at Travis. And Watson actually got a really good run there. Through the tri-oval. Like, that was a phenomenal run that he just got. Unfortunately, couldn't do anything with it at the moment. See if he gets another really good run here, because that was crazy what he did last lap. And it didn't look like he did anything different to any other lap. Just the run that he got was just so good. We do have another battle starting to form on track, just half a lap in front of these guys. Between the two of Chris Champeau and the four of Jaron Sanchez. They're not exactly close right now, not like these two are, so we'll wait a little bit on going to see them. Wait for them to just get a little bit closer to each other. And Sanchez and Champeau on the same lap tyres as well. In fact, they pitted the same lap as Massier and Watson. Seeing Sanchez a little bit better at saving his tyres than Chris Champeau is. As Christian Budd has a 5.2 second lead over Thomas Harmon. Now let's go check out these other two. There's Sanchez closing in on the back of Champeau. Very soon these guys are going to start battling it out for the 6th position. And Chambliss has been pulling in on Thomas Harmon. Got 5 lap fresher tyres than what Harmon does. And he has just been pulling that gap down. And here these two are on screen. You just see that Chambliss is just that ever so slightly faster than Thomas Harmon right now. Harmon trying to run that high line, get it to work for him. But it just doesn't quite have the pace that Brian Chambliss has right now with those fresher tyres. Let's see if Chambliss can do anything. Because it's one thing to catch a Thomas Harmon, another thing to get around him. Especially when he's getting pretty decent momentum off that high lane. But that's not going to matter for Chambliss this time, as he's going to start pulling up to the quarter panel of Thomas Harmon. The battle is on for second. Thomas trying to squeeze as low as he could there. Starts sliding up the track in turn 4. Side by side they go. Chambliss officially scored as P2 that time. And it looks like Harmon actually lifted a little bit early that time, allowing Chambliss free passage. Gap is now 6 seconds, Christian Budd. Let's go back to our battle between Sanchez and Champeau. These two are getting friendly with each other at the moment, the 2 and the 4. as we now have 10 laps left to run in this race. Christian Budd has started lap 91. This could end up being a battle that will go on until the end of the race. These two are also starting to catch up to Matt Burgess ahead of them. So this could go from being a battle for 6th to a battle for 5th. Especially if they can reel in Matt Burgess in these final 10 laps. It just seems that Sanchez does not quite have the legs to even attempt an overtake on Champeau right now. So I think he'll be welcoming the distraction that will be coming from the 12 of Matt Burgess. But just behind them, who has been on an absolute charge, Matt Horton in the 33. Remember, he's got 6 lap fresher tyres than Champeau and Sanchez. So he's catching them from behind. They're catching the other Matt from the front. This could end up being a really, really epic 4-way battle for 5th. Especially in these dying laps. As we now have 6 laps left to run in this race. Sanchez using all of the paint on the low line there. In real life, that paint has a lot of grip unless it's wet. Sanchez is close enough now to try and make an overtake. He's not going to be able to do it this time though. 5 laps to go. When these guys get to the start-finish line, they are on the back of Matt Burgess, and Matt Horton is just there behind them as well. So here goes Champeau now to the inside of Burgess. Looks like Burgess not really looking after his tyres. He pitted after Sanchez and Champeau. Very close quarters action as they went into turn 1 that time. Matt Horton fighting his way into this battle as well. Burgess blocking him off, saying, no, you're not sending it 3 wide just yet, Sonny Jim. Actually, no, that wasn't him. That was Champeau. 3 wide we go on the front stretch now. Between Champeau, Sanchez, and Horton. Sanchez with the advantage as they cross the line. It's going to be Sanchez still with the advantage coming out of turn 2. The battle is still on for Horton and Champeau though, trying to hold on to 7th and 8th for both of them. As there's now 1 lap and a half left to run for our leader, who was about to encounter some light traffic. I think he might ease off so he doesn't get into it. But here's your leader, the 50 car of Christian Budd. Unless we get a caution immediately right now, which it doesn't look like we will. It's white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for your champion-elect, Christian Budd. He makes his way through 1 and 2 for the final time. He's definitely just cruising right now. He's just taking it super easy here on the last lap. He comes out of turn 4 for the final time. Your winner for the penultimate round, Christian Budd in the 50. P2 is going to go the way of Brian Chambliss with P3, Thomas Harmon. Let's see if we can see this battle here. And it's Horton, then Burgess, Champo, then Sanchez. Great little end to the race there for those drivers. Let's catch back up to our winner here today, the 50 of Christian Budd. As he is going to go nuts for some donuts. Across the AstroTurf. Couldn't quite get it spun. Trying to go for them high-speed burnouts that he does. But there we go, guys. Your winner today for the Output Racing 150 here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Christian Budd. So we're going to go to a commercial break here. When we come back, we will have driver interviews as Sanchez drills the 50. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, it is time for driver interviews. And first up, we're going to have our Hard Charger Award winner. And today's Hard Charger is going to be the 12 of Matt Burgess. Matt, you started all the way back in 13th and finished in P6, which is a phenomenal effort. Congratulations, first and foremost. And, how was the race?
Well, qualifying didn't go. I took it easy on the first lap and then went for it on the second lap and then lost it. diving into 1 and 2. So I managed to not wreck it, but that kind of nullified the lap as far as time. So I started that far back, and then I know I had some pace. Unfortunately, I got in the back of John Lozelle there into 3. I actually got off earlier than I normally would, but I don't know if he taps the brakes going into it or if just his corner entry scrubbed off more speed. I ended up just barely getting into the back of him and turning him, so I apologize for that and anyone else who's caught up in it. But as far as the rest of the race, I was working on saving tires. I'm not real good at Charlotte, so after everything was kind of going to plan for the green flag stop, and I think I pushed it way too hard trying to get back to Jaron after the green flag stops and kind of burnt off the right front and started slowing down there towards the end and had to fight off a lot of people to try and maintain that 6th position.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a fairly intense battle there at the end between what was it? You, Matt Horton, Chris, and Jaron. What was that battle like, and what was the earlier battles like before the pit stop cycle?
I think it was Chris, Jaron, myself, and I believe I think Matt Horton that before the green flag pit stops where um, Chris was kind of the guy that was stopping up everyone. We were trying to get past him, and I finally got by and was putting some space in between. And then it kind of at the end there it turned out to be the opposite, where I was taking the lines, trying to maintain my position, where they were there trying to get back by me, and Matt that time managed to get a good run off and get by me, and then I managed to keep Chris and Jaron behind me. So it was kind of it was one way at the beginning of before the green flags, and then at the end there it was opposite, where I was kind of the cork of the bottle.
Now, let's look forward to next week, man. Next week, the final round of the season. First of all, are you excited to be out of the ARCA cars after next week? And secondly, what's the feeling like heading into the 2008 Phoenix track?
Yes, I am excited to get out of the ARCA cars. I like them for as official sometimes and race them sometimes, but week after week, I don't know. They kind of get sick of them. I mean, I raced the Cup car a lot more with in some other leagues and stuff, so I don't seem to get as sick about that one. I don't know. Maybe it's just the setups with the ARCA cars, but I'm just looking forward to getting out of them and getting to something else. It doesn't even matter what it is, as long as it's not the ARCA car. And then Phoenix, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Usually I'm pretty good at Phoenix, so I expect be in that probably depending on who shows up too and what happens, but around that top 5 position.
All right, Matt. So before we let you go here tonight, because we know you're an old fella, we know you got to get your nana nap in. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Just shout out to all the guys that come racing every week here in Output. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it quite a bit. Even if it's really late for me, I still like to show up and have some fun, no matter how much tired I am. It seems like I still end up racing. And then to you for broadcasting, as always, go back and watch them when I have some time. It's always fun to have them on and see what the commentator said.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Matt. Congratulations on what I think is your first Hard Charger award in a very, very long time. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Phoenix for the final round.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. So that was today's Hard Charger Award winner, Matt Burgess. And not a bad effort, honestly, considering he had the hard charge from all the fresher tires coming up behind him. But coming up next, we're going to be talking to our third place getter here tonight. And our third place getter is going to be the 38 car of Mr. Thomas Harmon. Thomas, that definitely looked like one of the more strategizing kind of races there. We noticed that you pitted early, trying to get the undercut on Christian, and it worked for a few laps, but he's just too good.
Yeah, I was hoping that the tires would be. He pit, I think, 2 laps after I did, and I was hoping they would equalize with him somewhat close, but it sure in the hell didn't help that I blasted the wall and wanted to with like 20 to go, and it murdered my car, and it just had no straightaway speed after that.
Well, it definitely looked like you were on track for at least second place there. So I was wondering what happened to you. But it was a pretty decent race here today. We only had that one early caution that was unfortunately caused by contact towards the back. But you definitely played that strategy card just right, and you jumped a lot of the field there.
Well, I made it into second before the pit cycle started, but um, I don't know where I was taking that. But it just it was a nice long run. It was nice to get it. We've had them past. Seems like they've come back the past few weeks, and it's nice to see them continue. But tires been a lot tonight, and the set was really tight entering, and then snap loose off to start. But you had to not grind that front off, and it seemed like I did that and plastered the wall.
All right, well, let's look forward to next week. It's our final round in the ARCA cars. So, first of all, how's the feeling getting out of the ARCA cars? And then, secondly, what's the feeling like heading into Phoenix for our finale, the Legacy Phoenix Oval?
Um, I'll be glad when it's over, both the ARCA car and the track. Um, but we'll see. Hopefully, a strong finish and um, move on to next season where I think we're doing trucks, isn't it?
I am not sure at all what we're doing next season. Um, I, I'm I haven't really been paying attention to the debate, honestly.
Fair enough.
But anyway, Thomas, we know you're a Twitch streamer, and we know you got a few people to thank. So let's get a shout out to your Twitch channel and any other shout outs you got to do here tonight.
Yep, shout out to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JungleCatWizard, and all the fans that watch every week, be it my stream, your stream. Shout out to you for broadcasting it to everybody and giving us a chance to go back and look and watch the race from a fan's perspective. Shout out to all the admins, Jaron putting on the league, and all the drivers that show up each week. And that is it.
All right, Travis, thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on P3, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Legacy Phoenix.
I'll be there. Have a good one.
All right, guys, so that was our third place getter here today, Thomas Harmon. And, he is right. He did make it up to second before the pit stop cycle. I'm just an idiot. Coming up next, we have another guy who charged pretty hard through the field. He started from second, and that is exactly where he finished as well. Of course, we're talking to the 21 car of Brian Chambliss. Brian, glad to see you back in the booth, man. Another top three, so another solid run. But you didn't have it all your own way in the second half of that race after pitting, fairly late.
Yeah, this is the third time in the last 4 weeks I've finished bridesmaid. But yeah, I mean, it's still a good run. On that first run there, Thomas got around me, and I was like, man, if I got any chance of getting him back, I might have to go a little bit longer. That way I can get him on tires towards the end. And yeah, it paid off. I went a little longer. Got a lap led. I'm not really running for points here because I think Christian tied it up or locked it up last week, but definitely for sure this week. So it's really just going out there trying to get wins or trying to get as close as I was to Christian. I thought early that maybe if I save my tires a little bit, I might be able to catch him. There's points in the race where I was probably quicker than him, but he's just better at saving tires, I guess. And then towards the end of that run, mine were shot. At least that first run, mine were done, and I was just going backwards. So had to do something. And luckily, I was at least able to recover, best I could, given Christian speed.
Now, that second run, as I said, you pitted rather late, so everyone got the undercut on you. What was it like trying to cut through the traffic and then, trying to chase down, the carrot in the headlights that was Thomas Harmon?
Yeah, I was a little worried when I came back out on fresh tires because it took me a little bit to move a little bit through the field. I guess the my tire advantage wasn't showing up real early, but after probably about 5 6 laps on the tires, I noticed the guys in front of me, pitted just a few laps before, they were really starting to struggle, especially on exit, guys getting tight and pushing up, and I was still able to wrap the bottom, and then Thomas pitted 5 laps before me, so he was probably, I think, worst on the tires, at least of the guys that were running in the top five. So, I was just trying to make sure that I, was paying attention to the relative and knowing that I was catching them, but I didn't want to push it real hard and then end up equaling out our tires and then me not get back to them. So I was still saving a little bit and trying to, cut into his lead. And luckily, there about 10 to go, I think I took a second from him. And then after that, I was just watching the relative to see if anything was going on with Christian, maybe getting slowed up by lap cars or, you know, he doesn't make mistakes, but you never know. You always hope that wall sneaks up and gets him. But no, he did a great job, and I just couldn't get there and didn't have the tire and pit strategy, or at least the first run where I wasn't within a second or two of him. That was really kind of sealed it. That I knew I was the best I could hope for was second. So that's what I put my goal at there around where I pit and pulled it out. So hopefully it's something more to come next year. Maybe we can get a little bit closer to Christian and battle a little bit. It'd be fun to you know, get a win. And, Christian's a great driver. So anytime you can get up there and battle with him, it'd be great. But we're not there yet. We're going to get there, though. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, let's look forward to next week first and foremost. It's our last round of the season, so the last time that we're going to be in these ARCA cars, and we're heading to the Legacy Phoenix Oval. So, first of all, how do you feel going into the final round with the ARCA car, and how excited are you to get out of them? And then, secondly, what's the feeling like going to Legacy Phoenix?
Yeah, Legacy Phoenix is, a little different. It cuts that whole dog leg out of it. It's really going to be setup dependent. If it's something tight like this, I don't know how well I do. I'll be glad to get out of this car. It's not my favorite, although I've had some good runs here of late. I don't know. It, I don't know. It just doesn't suit me. I don't do real well in it, but I don't know what car we're running next year, so I guess that'll be a surprise, or maybe I need to pay attention more. But I'll be looking forward to getting out of this one and getting into next season. Hopefully, I can be here more often. I don't know when it's going to start, but it's really what I'm looking forward to. And then hopefully next week we can do as well as tonight, or maybe one spot better. I don't know. We'll have to see.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Brian. But before we let you go, know you're a Twitch streamer, so let's get a shout out to your Twitch stream and also any other shout outs you got to handle here tonight as well.
Yeah, it's going to be twitch.tv/brchambliss. And then, I'd like to give a thanks to Jaron and everyone in this league and drivers for coming out, racing clean, racing respectful, and they do a great job. And thank you for broadcasting. It's always good to see these on the other end. You do a great job. And then, thank my wife for letting me do this. She's going through a hard time right now. Her grandfather passed away this last weekend, so she had to run off and take care of that. And unfortunately, I couldn't be with her, but I'm thinking of her. So we'll ready for her to come back next week, and maybe next week when she gets home, I'll be able to brag about a win if she even cares.
Well, man, condolences to your wife and her family. I know loss in the family is never easy. And, congratulations on P2. Hopefully, maybe, finally a win next week, mate.
Yeah, you never know. A squirrel could find a nut every once in a while, and hopefully, Christian ends up being a nut next week, but you never know what happened.
Well, broken clock is right twice a day, so hopefully tomorrow is your day, or next week is your day. All right,
We'll see you then, man.
All right, thank you very much, Brian, and we'll see you next week. All right, guys, that was our second place getter, Brian Chambliss, in the 21 car. That really became weird there at the very end. We're coming up next. We got literally the most dominant driver we've seen in a very long time. We've seen him very, very, very dominant last year too, when we did the full season of the Cup cars, and he even took time off, and still was the season champion for the regular season. So there's no understating the amount of skill this driver has. Of course, the 50 of Christian Budd. Christian, just another day and another win in the column, man. How do you feel first and foremost, and how was the race from your perspective?
Uh, the race was okay. Thought the setup tonight was pretty lacking. Really tight, and didn't give you a lot of options to do much different. So kind of had to drive the car a very specific way to make any speed. Um, and just like I always say with these cars at these mile and a halves, it's just kind of a mixed bag. If you got a loose set and you can drive the car, it's fun. And if you don't, you're just kind of let off the gas, roll center, back on the gas real hard, just rinse and repeat.
It looked like a few people were struggling with tightness in turn four, but you didn't seem to struggle really with the setup at all. It just looked like you were cool, calm, and collected the entire time. You constantly hit your marks, but it was another green flag dominant race. So I don't know what question I'm going to ask here, but what was it like just trying to deal with a setup that's not really favorable for anyone, considering we've had pretty good loose setups in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you unfortunately, you gotta just adapt to what you're given, and in this case, when it's tight like that, you got to take care of the right front tire, um, and you got to really make sure. There was a little bit of figuring out, like, okay, am I going to need to just stay on the bottom the whole time? Is the middle or the top going to be better? I tried it a couple times early on and just pretty much quickly decided, yeah, the bottom's place to be. That's what you got to do. So, you know, like I said, it just doesn't give you a lot of options. If you're loose, sometimes if you can wheel it and you can make it work up top, or maybe you're not slower up there at least. Then when it comes time to pass somebody or something like that, you can kind of make that move. But like I said, when you've got this kind of set, you just got to kind of drive it that very specific way. Track position becomes really important. That's why qualifying. If I had qualified 15th or something and had to drive up through everybody, probably couldn't have done that very well with the way it was. So, for me, some of this is just, I thought in a, I don't know, around lap 30 or so, Chambliss is right there. I could never really break away from him. But eventually, I think he used up his tires a little bit, and I was able to start pulling. But I couldn't do a whole lot. It wasn't like a walking away from the whole field every lap. It was kind of having to wait it out and wait it out.
All right, man. Now let's look forward to next week. The final round of this season, we're going to be at the Legacy Phoenix Oval. So, first of all, what's it like for you finally having the last round in these cars? And then, what is your feelings about the Legacy Phoenix Oval?
Um, that my feelings about this car are mixed. Obviously, the season's gone as well as it could have. I certainly can't complain about the results. Um, the car's fun to drive. I think that a lot of the tracks, has been fun, and I like it, but it's just the setups are so inconsistent about whether it's going to be something that's fun to drive or something that's a dump truck like tonight. So I'm not going to miss that part of it so much. I think if you ran these cars and you ran all tracks that are a mile and under, that you'd have a really good series. When you put in these 1.5s and 2 mile stuff, these cars just don't really work for it. But with that being said, if we have a decent setup here at Legacy Phoenix, I think it could be a really fun race. That track is I don't want to say that it's not. I'm not that good at it. I'm okay, but I really like it. It's just really fun. It's always had two grooves, so I think you're going to see two wide racing there more than you would see at the new Phoenix. Um, and I think these cars are going to put on a good race there. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, well, here's hoping for a good race, man. But it's time for us to start wrapping up here. But before we let you go, we know that you're Twitch streamer. Let's get a shout out to your Twitch stream again. And also, any other shout outs you got to handle here tonight?
Twitch.tv/Christian Bud, and race on Tuesdays here in Output and Sundays in Winsdale. And then also, of course, Output Racing. New season coming up. I don't know what car is going to be run next season or any of that stuff. But if you're looking for a league to join, it's definitely a good option. A lot of good guys here. Obviously, clean racing. I mean, one caution in a 100-lap race. Can't complain about that. And for the most part, everybody gets along. And even when there is conflict, they get it resolved, which is good. So Sharon does a really good job of running this league. I will say that, and he's kept it nice and tidy ever since I've joined. And of course, our resident broadcaster and the Aussie Sim commentator, and check him out on Twitch. And I think he does some other broadcasting as well. And then you can see his Corey Has No Life 13. And the Salty stream.
Oh, thank you very much, Christian, for that. Oh, thank you for coming out, man. Congratulations on another emphatic victory. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Legacy Phoenix.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, guys. That's the ever charismatic Christian Bud, winner again. But that is going to end our broadcast here for tonight. Thank you guys for coming out and watching. Don't forget to check us out next week when we go to Legacy Phoenix for the Autism Awareness Race, the final round of the season. And until next week, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and I'll see you guys then.